Cause I'm the king on my own throne, oh, oh, oh. King on my own throne, my own throne. You'll never see me fall, fall. You'll never see me fall. Watch me reign, and I'll slay them all. Slay them all, slay them all, slay them all. You'll never, you'll never, you'll never steal the reign, and I'll slay them all. Slay them all, slay them all, slay them all.
Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. So I've got like a whole collection of different things that I want to do, and fortunately I forgot to get the package build going. So, maybe I could have copied the files from the main build, although I think I did that before and we had some weird object entities. Anyway, that's going to take sweet time, but we can start looking at the code for stuff in the meantime. So all these patches, most of them are just on. One of them has a feature file because it's a useful setting. But understand that OBS is thinking about including these with a toggle setting screen, so it'd probably be good if they actually supported settings themselves, so that was a little bit more maintainable. Of course, for all I know, he's going to put them in his repository and then just kind of look at the changes and make parallel edits from there. So that doesn't need it. That's a thing. And conceivably, you could set up like distance from screen edge or scrolling speed to make it more of a parameter. We'll have to look at that and see if it offers any. Well, actually, we can probably kind of look at it here. Okay, direction of that. Ooh. We've got what looks like just a straight up changed line in here. So that may be something we can fix. We've got a couple just straight up changed, removed blank lines in here. I wonder if those crept in from other game edits. Anyway. So I moved this down because of how we interact with some other stuff. Green center player offset. So if it's at the edge, we move it by a factor. And then we reapply our same old limiting. And on the detection side, okay, so this is an unnecessary spacing change as well. Span. Nice left screen view center. Okay, so the span we're checking is view width. And this is difference from the center. So we're taking the half, so we're doing a half of half in each direction. We are then doing half a cell width from there. So conceivably, you could also do, make turns to a 0.5 and make the amount of detection space also variable. Although I think speed would be more useful as like making a useful setting instead of just a toggle for this one. But perhaps we should get down to this patch and see if we can clean up the white space first. So, STG series. We have everything applied. We want to get back down to screen edge push. Then we do pop all, pop a patch, keep local changes, pop one or more, so that kind of works. So we want auto run to debugging info. Oh, or pop the number of patches, but this is probably a little bit easier. Is it show? Yeah, so here's the current patch. So we can clean up some spacing. Yeah, because we got some random changes in here. All right, get this so we can have a little bit less stuff to search. Living life. So somewhere around 5250. Oops. Bump an extra key there. Reset flags. Okay, so that's... All right, we bumped it down a little bit, I guess. Where was that? You don't really see the white space in that view. Patches master. No, that was the wrong one. So this is, there was an extra indented line after that one originally. Where did my cursor go? And around 63. There's a return special mode for teaser video. We had another blank line. I must have been doing something around here. They got picked up. And then this had some unnecessary white space changes as well. So in the patch, this is about 17208. Let's mouse over fade. So that this was indented to there, I guess. So we can take that, and if we do... So status, I think, is the same as get status. And if we do a refresh... Oops. Then we should only have useful stuff there. All right. Now, one of the other patches that was auto run. Patches auto run, where we were doing settings stuff. So that was a value. Max. Max double click frames, which was just a value. So that's not going to collect all the settings necessarily, but oh well. No, so the head mouse frames, right. And I ended up... Oh, I ended up catching that in the signed unsigned. Did I? I did end up touching that code a bit. Maybe cleaning up some warnings. I don't technically need to edit that one. Okay, but that's when we're on a different patch. What I'm interested in right now is probably this. Is there any place else that has to deal with that? Settings. Nope, that's pretty much it. Well, I guess I need to actually have a field, a thing to set, huh? And the thing we wanted to set to make it a useful parameter was that now x and y is generally well, that's part of the patch. It's a double pair. So what kind of settings? Int setting, int setting, int setting, int setting. Float setting. Yeah, I had not noticed emote duration was a client settable thing. So there is a get float setting. Since we are doing a double there, we could make that a floating point value. Is emote duration available? I wonder if that is. No, actually, the build would be where it would have been used. So we go back to the previous one that's not in the progress of being built. Emote duration. That is, yeah, it's just a 10. So it is, even though it's a float, it's going to be perfectly fine to be more of an integer format. So we've got that. This is, we're going init live triggers. So the only thing is here, since we kind of, Oh, right, I was putting that down with the mouse stuff. My only concern here is that my patches are going to start conflicting. Because we're going to be making like very, very similar additions in each layer. Set to 0 to disable. Screen edge push. Oh, no, we wanted to get a variable for this first. So right now we've got last screen edge. Yeah. Extern. Yes, there are no other double pairs, so I don't know if that means that should be static. The other one was an extern, which was different. Probably should be. And static, well, it's a float setting. Wait a minute. What were we calling this? Series. Screen edge push. This should be screen edge push speed. So 10, and then when we were doing this, there's too many of those. Screen edge push speed. Screen edge push speed. Our client is still building. I could probably go back to the other one, although it might complain about data mismatch. Well, we can go ahead and put the settings in this. Init live triggers. This is also kind of a pointer-ish thing. I don't know if there's really any other settings that would be kind of related. To disable a screen edge push. Screen edge, once again, too many things. Screen edge push speed, default value 10. This is a float setting. And we are, this used to be a indented line here. Edge push speed. So the thing that can the window that can compile that is still building ground tiles right now. I could get another window just to get a compile check on it. All right, I've got a compile check. Get status, get diff. And actually, I think that other file is actually, was an oopsie at some point. So we've got changing that, doing the setting, STG refresh. And I should probably pop over patches master in anticipation of exporting this. Excuse me? There should be no changes to the patch. So screen edge push. Push speed can be configured in settings. Screen edge push speed.ini. Default value is 10. Speed of 0 will disable edge push. We hope. Okay, so that should be there. Auto run is the next, so now we get to see if those setting changes conflict. Conflict, yep. That might get annoying. Well, the context for the patch didn't include that. So as long as they get applied in order, it might be okay. Moving them around could get hairy. But we all kind of need to add stuff to the same place, so I'm not really sure what the good solution for that is. Get in setting. So we want both. Yeah, in branch A, in branch B. Get status, get add, game source. Living. Well, let's make sure. Or no, STG series. We are on auto run, so STG get add game source. Living life. STG refresh. So you've already got, and this is done. So we can now go to game source and make and copy onelife.exe to build Windows OneLife 185. This will also include auto run, but that shouldn't affect our screen push experimentation. Now what we do have to do here is we made a bunch of tweaks to our settings files here. Oh wait, did I copy settings or probably be a bit more direct to do that. Oh, I must have clicked into this one by mistake. That was not useful. All right, so first of all, we want to make sure nothing is broken. Which is to say, if there is... Okay, yeah. Wait. Is this a map change? Or did I not update my other objects? Well, we can still do some testing here. Because that is the wrong... Man, it's a little frightful how easily those item IDs drift. So that still feels about normal. So if that's old data, which we can actually check that one. CD OneLife data. I guess it's just because it's maybe there's a database migration I'm supposed to be running and didn't. Because that's a little bit weird. Okay. I guess we'll just have to live with that. And then settings. So build Windows. Well, I could just do a new. So edit screen edge push speed dot ini. So if we do something very, very small. Okay, apparently 1 is below the rounding value. Let's set it back to 10 and make sure that's working as expected. Okay, so there appears to be a minimum value that's viable there. If we go twice as fast. Yeah, that feels a bit snappier. So apparently 1 is falling below some sort of, what the heck did I just do? Some sort of minimum unit. It's the same old edge push I've been doing. I'm just tweaking the speed. Oops, I didn't need to actually build there. Or rather, OBS wants to do settings when he, or feature flags when he pulls in. Yeah, so I originally was doing for auto run, like if you click near the edge of the screen, but I found it was too easy to activate by accident. So I might actually want to have in the documentation here if there is a point that it becomes useless. Yeah, so actually, oh, no, 2 will still do it. Seems to take a little bit longer to get going. And then we said 1 earlier did not amount to anything. Yep, I don't need to build. Just changing a setting. Yeah, so I was originally doing auto run as edge of screen, but that didn't work out. But I did end up doing a screen push as like some old RTS games tended to have. And it appears that even 1 is enough to become nothing. All right, so that is just that. All right, so auto-run already had its setting file, so now we want to go through here and see if we can get a toggle for that. Now this is much more of a toggle. I don't think we're going to be able to have a useful setting here. We also have to look at what we're doing. Matches master, let through trees. I also want to keep an eye out for unnecessary white space changes we can clean up. Because I know that there was something that was giving me warnings, and it might have been that first patch. Okay, there's an object height threshold. But that's more of a specific berry bush thing. Larger... But yeah, the problem is that it's one C program compiled. So you could conceivably make a heavily modified client that supported like Lua modding or something. And then that could support all of the different mods with one update, but it would probably be a pretty fragile thing to have all those hooks in there. Maybe you could do something with DLLs instead to keep it in C land. But then that kind of raises the bar on developer skill to be able to make them. I guess, well, yeah, I mean, a Lua engine would be a little bit more approachable. I would kind of wondered if you could do something where you took the debug symbols and exported, function entry points so that people could do before and after stuff. But so many of the functions in the game are huge that it would be difficult to get useful things without essentially replacing the function, which in turn would make mods incompatible. Perhaps some advanced metaprogramming system would be able to get down to like individual statements and doing before after. You're almost at like assembly level editing at that point, which I don't see how that could be very robust against changes. So, I mean, if the game ever gets to the point where it's pure content and not client changes, then we won't have to update as much. Conceivably, you could do the one client that, hosted like Lua mods or something, but, you get these little tiny things that the framework would have to provide hooks for. So you would almost have to start developing a completely separate client, a total fork, that broke down all the functions a lot more, and then we just have to re-implement everything Jason did. So it's a bit of a gnarly problem with the way the game is. And maybe there are other more experienced modders who've dealt with that kind of problem before in useful ways. But yeah, if I had a better solution, I'd use it. Yeah, so the only thing that's really a parameter here is this bush height override. And I don't really know if that's going to be a useful parameter. I mean, maybe you could end up fudging some objects, but probably that's going to be the same for everybody. So the trick here is going to be getting a Boolean flag and then making a setting, getting all of this to work off a Boolean flag. And then, let's see, so how does... Hey, Chandu, how's it going? Chandu? Yeah, you can look at... I did look at the diff for OBS mod. The viewable area is a little bit tricky. Now, he's doing variable zoom. I think that there were some old forum topics about doing clients at specific zooms. No, I'm not doing binary exploitation. The source is, public domain. So a couple people are making our own little modifications and publishing our own clients. I have not gotten into the binary exploitation side of things, so I don't know all the tricks that I would need to be like making random hooks and modifications to the program And I don't know how you would make those robust against the client releases either. So that's the limits of my knowledge. So we've got things like auto login, which are essentially Boolean flags. Which is apparently not in this file. How about borderless? Maybe that's a system thing? No. What else is a Boolean flag? Output all frames? No. Pause on? No. Record audio? No. Report wild bug to user? Get int setting, and he's just then doing a Boolean comparison on that. Yeah, well, there's actually some object-oriented programming, and I guess for things that are dynamically modifiable in that way, object-oriented programming is nice. I have kind of wondered how you would do that in something like an Elm environment, and with all the type checking, it's that might be one thing functional isn't good at, because it tries to have lots of very strict checking and guarantees. So it's good for personal refactoring, maybe not so good for dynamic modding. No, maybe I didn't put the camera over a little bit. Yeah, that might be it. I'm going to slide enough, maybe I just a little a touch. Oh, so he's actually hot loading that on event, but this is a more of a rare event. This is something they'd be processing at every click, so probably wouldn't want to be live checking that. But it is just get int setting. Okay, so I think I still need to step up to that patch. Okay, no problems there. So we need a variable for this, and it currently has no variables. So I may put it sort of near some of this other stuff, but also separate enough it's not as easily confused, hopefully, maybe? I don't think... Are there any other... There's pointer hit record. There's object height. Yeah, nothing... There's no other variables that are really related to this. So these are the sort of setting stuff here. Static int... So I called this click through trees originally. Let's see. Ignore. It's like it's tall objects, but it's the tall part of tall objects. And the default value with the patch applied is 1. So we have circa 6599. And it's weird that, well, I guess my setting changes have probably been moving stuff down more. All short objects. And these patches have not been updated yet. Okay. I guess I could STG show the current version of the patch to get the current numbers. So we took out the original get. Oh. So switching this, having this switch is going to be a little bit hairy because we have to continue doing all of this stuff in the case where we're doing the other version. So actually this we can leave. It's this. This is actually there regardless. Yeah, I mean, actually having this on switches does complicate things a bit. So this is and. And I guess this would be ignore tall object clicks or this. To get back to our original behavior. So that would effectively remove that statement. Then we have this, which is actually what we're looking for is already hit a short object. There are more than one of those. We're looking for around 16, 7, 10. So this would become if, actually he does this, not ignore tall object clicks. And then we've got an else case here that does do an it. This is circa, let's see, 722. We're practically already there. Get object heights. This was just an else before. So this is I wonder. I'm trying to think of how much this depends on. Because I did end up sort of removing an else case here. I'm trying to think how much this depends on sort of the previous stuff. Should I do this else if flag and this block and then continue to have else all of this stuff? That might end up being a little bit easier. So the old else will be a little bit cleaner than trying to like do this case and then recheck it for that. But yeah, there was no space there. Else if ignore tall object clicks. Oh wait, is that? Okay, so this was within a space that this. So the hit actually doesn't matter. If we are not in that mode, we've already set hit. So in both cases, hit is going to be true here, and it's just the question of And if we weren't doing that, then this object has been hit. This is where the logic gets hairy. If this is true, that's hit, and we're doing this. If hit our placement, already hit a short object, short behind short. That's greater than, so that's the object behind. And then I guess for parity with that, we would be checking. So the simpler code here would be to do one check for this and then switch off this stuff, but that becomes a larger patch. This duplicates some stuff, and this things won't be updated if the core updates. Our placement behind. It's a short object, then we can do it as a hit on the blocking object. This still says we hit an object if it's behind something, but we're treating it as a hit on the parent up here because of that code. So the alternate is, well, no, actually, this isn't too bad. We would just say, well, let's see what happens if we have this. If we have else, and then we say, we're going to treat it as a hit if it is a short object. Okay, so this will actually be redundant if we get here, and we ignored that before. So we can just say, okay, if we get here, either we've already set hit or we've ignored that and we now need to set it. And then we don't have to duplicate this stuff. And I think that is all of this patch. We haven't did a setting for it yet, but we can tweak this in the code. Well, I guess we have to test the setting anyway, don't we? So the settings, let's see, there were no global variables that really interacted with this stuff. So we had ignore. What did we do? We did screen, edge, push, speed. Oh, it ended up, okay, that's fine. We'll just do them in order, I guess. This is not as complicated. This is just an ignore. Tall object clicks. It is a get int setting. With the mod installed, it has a default value of 1. So we should expect standard behavior here. Oh, and I can go back to my notes for the error cases I ran into before. I think this was a branch or a bones or something. Is that okay? It's not. That was just old database, not current, at least. Well, unless it's the bones. Actually, where would we go up on the other one? Well, I don't know whether our last person died. Well, this actually is the same person, but she was at origin. Oh no, that's clicking on the tree. That did not work. Okay. So what part of that is failing? Hmm. Well, this has to be because of something we changed to add this flag. So without that change, we had completely removed this line. Okay, that is not ignoring that. The other change we did was here, where we had entirely removed, oops, this bit. Okay, no. And this should put this back to where it was with no hit here. Okay, well, that's getting disturbing. One life 85. One life.exe. 1043. Seems reasonable. Am I running? Is that the one I'm running? Okay. So this is where we visit our friend. Get reset hard. And make sure that this patch is still working in general, which it should be. And then we have to very, very carefully add these things back until we see where it breaks. Okay. One of those changes broke it. So I have to go step by step. We might have some intermediary things that don't quite work there. Screen edge. push speed. So we're going to... Right, so that was that stuff. Yeah, there's kind of a section of things down here. So that was one setting. This was one setting. It's all kind of interaction stuff. Static int ignore tall objects. I guess I could just call it ignore tall objects. All right, because I'm super paranoid now. Wow, and we actually managed to fail that. Or maybe it was saying unused. Unused variable. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that had the expected effect. So I need to find out where I was doing this again. Can't just jump to that variable. All short objects are mouse throughable. So the original code was there. And we wanted to change that so that we said if it is ignore tall objects is true, or because we just removed that condition. Well, maybe that's more consistent with this style. I'm not sure. So that adds back in this condition. Although this does allow objects of less than a cell. Oh, no, we're doing this all the time, so we'll never even get to this condition if we're doing that. All right, so that by itself does not break it. The other piece, one of the other pieces is circa 16.7.10. Oop, 16.7. I may have gone a little bit too far there, but I think it actually is already. Oh, it was already hit a short object. False. This is probably it, given some of the drift. So we had removed a hit equals true here. And the way I was going to put that back, let's see, so this was an indented space, was to say if, and maybe I got this backwards, but I think I thought I had removed this. Oh, maybe I removed it and then left that out? I don't know. So if, oh, maybe I got this condition backwards. If we are not ignoring tall objects, we call that a hit. Technically, it's large objects, not tall objects, although there does end up being a special case for berry bushes. Wow, maybe I just typoed something. Now, we do still have a little bit of code left that we've not gone and touched yet, I think. So it must have been down here. Oh, I wonder, because I did end up removing all of this stuff. So I wonder if that closest cell, if this stuff was sufficient to... So let's take out just this for now, because that was one of the things that I think I did wash out trying to undo that. Well, I mean, it wasn't else. See if that affects all objects more than I thought it did, because I thought that was just the berry bush patch. Oh. Okay, so that... So I actually do have to remove... Maybe I completely removed that case before and then had to put it back with the condition. Okay, so not having this else case... Well... So I... Okay, so how do we do this? So it's not just this one line. We actually do have to not do this for these objects if we're in that mode. Actually, oh, you know what? If we leave this hidden here, it doesn't matter because it was already set above in the regular case. So this is if ignore, if not ignore tall objects, or, and that's going to turn into a bit of a long line. He seems to prefer trailing operator. Then this is extra, so to reset the hit flag if that was the case. It's redundant in the case of there. Let's add set if ignoring set if ignoring tall and short object or redundant set in normal case. Since we're already modifying the lines up here, it's just going to all be part of this patch, and I think... No, actually, we're adding this. This is added, but I do kind of want to remind myself how that works. Because the Boolean logic here is getting a little bit annoying. Or a little bit dangerous. Alright, so we're going to ignore tall objects. We can walk by the trees with no trouble. So now, green edge push speed. Actually, it's a float. Let's grab the int. Have a little bit less stuff. This is a Boolean, so it should be fairly obvious. Ignore tall objects, ignore tall objects, get int setting. In the mod, it's going to be default 1. Okay, so... Oh my gosh, we're actually getting hungry. Well, let's get rid of this... Oh, it's not even a usable bean taco. It's just a glitch. Okay, so there's another tree back there. Okay, so with no setting file, it's fine. Actually, didn't I have another window that I left in settings? Yeah. Edit, ignore tall objects.ini. So I guess we check the actual disable. No, actually didn't need to make that. I'm gonna say nothing to be done. It's just a setting file. Ooh. The flag does not work. Oh, objects. Settings. I guess since I'm going into here anyway, I could just rename it. Okay, now we're back to normal tree bouncing. And check that ignore tall object, setting it back to 1 works correctly. Okay. One thing I want to do is edit, patches, master, get all this set up as we go. Auto run, do trees. There's not a whole lot to say about settings here. I mean, I guess we can say 0 to disable this feature. Just to be clear about that, this is the ignore tall objects. So this one I've been debating whether to call this, actually call it diegetic temperature or like show shiver and sweat. It's a little bit more plain language of what it is. But first we have to refresh our patch. Get diff, we add the value, we put that back with the condition. Okay, so actually this is added space. Because we completely added that condition. So let's actually do this nice. Wait, did I see? Okay, I missed you. Although that may be putting back original code. Edit, patches master, click through trees. Yes, that is the original code, so it will actually be less of a diff in the patch. STG show. There, tall objects, added a setting. Yeah, so that's fine. This got an extra condition on it. So even if I move this to a separate line, it would make it a little bit more obvious we're maintaining this. We're still going to have a parenthesis afterwards, so it's still going to be a changed line. It'll be a less changed line. So that will have the extra parenthesis. I don't know if he does... Yeah, I don't know if I have any other sub parenthesized booleans to see if he does the space style everywhere. Double check that compiles. So that does show as a removed line, but this is a very small edit. You can see it's pretty much the same except for we added this. This is... The only way I could make this less impactful would be to do this as a unbracketed if, which is just bad practice. And then this is peer addition replacing the unqualified else. So stg push. So we got diegetic temperature. Ignore tall objects. Now this might be, what does this end up touching? Object heat, local variable, shiver, and then we're actually in another file. That will make things more interesting. I think it's just an externing. That would be not static. So the other stuff I'm storing actually ends up in animation. So I kind of want, just for concentration of patches, to stick that over in animation bank and then extern it in our main file. Oh, and that's Living Life, Animation Bank. Oh. Do we not directly reference that? Well, I'll just huh. I mean, it could be referenced via way of another file. Object Bank, Sprite Bank. This does not directly reference Animation Bank. So I guess we just match them up. All right, so we've got a sprite handle. We've got our sweat drop. I don't remember if you need to extern. Or do you even need to extern? You just need to declare. Extern because it's elsewhere. Sweat drop. This is all the local stuff. Do you have anything that gets... Shared. Probably functions. Map size. Okay, yes, this is a local thing, not game map. So we have. This is pretty much just a. So with the mod, it's 1. And then we've got various stuff, so we have to. Okay, so that's animation bank. Yeah, load the sprite, which would only. No, you can load the sprite regardless. That's fine. You can free the sprite regardless. That's fine. Oh, I put this down here because it's with this function. Oh. Actually. No, because this is a floating point. And there's nothing that, like, resets this. Oh, this was a flag. I had to try and get this in without breaking everything. But that could be nulled. Draw it with heat. So I could, like, add a local boolean here. Actually, where does set animation heat get declared? That it gets imported into living life page. Animationbank.h must be indirectly included in something. Or null for, okay, so this is set up to be a function interface. Since I have, well, no, I guess I could switch it off to 0.5 because that is perfect temperature and would show nothing. And then I actually need no more changes to this. Patches, diegetic temperature. So living life page. Living life page. Yeah, I don't really have any. It's only in the code. So we just have to pick a spot. We just did ignore tall objects. If heat is less than, so this is the shiver. This is just if the heat. We should probably just skip as much as we can. If show so that's that. And then we have all these set animation heat, which is, yep, animation bank. If show, I should keep doing more of this. How does he do his else's? It is that and then that. Oops. Okay. Okay, I guess he does tend to do one-liners. But I've always found it to be a dangerous practice. Although I guess it's comparable to set animation in motion. Alright, so we would expect no change in behavior at this point. Okay, our previous person died. Okay, so... I don't know what this taco thing was. Alright, so we are definitely shivering. Now, I don't remember... And I think since last time I was doing this, the jungles got added. There used to be a desert up here. Well, mosquitoes are one way to get hot. Okay, there's still a little bit of desert. And hunger rates might be slow enough to make it actually survivable. Oh, she has some pretty big hair, though. Wow, that's actually like... Well, okay, when it's really hot, it's... somewhat... Oh, and then she got even more hair. That's not going to be useful. You'll just never see that character sweat. Now I have to go find that desert again, though. You've got a fair amount of hair, too. Was I just not hitting these models while I was testing? It's like, I know, like, the ponytail kind of got in the way. There's a little bit of desert. Alright, so we're seeing it fade in. Now what we need to do is... serene edge, push... Push speed. This is going to be a straight up... Oh no, right, because this is just a Boolean, so I wasn't really worrying about comments on them. This is show shiver sweat, and also for you, it's a get int setting. It's default on in the mod. So we should make sure that everything is working just by having that in the no setting file state, which, I mean, we've been pretty good at that so far, but I still want to check it. Okay, so you're still showing that. I guess what I really need is like a desert next to an Arctic area, huh? Well, there's at least plains over here, which is your well, a little bit of it. Your basic coolness. Oh, I'm still at my super slow scroll setting from testing it. Oh, wait, did that actually push at 1? Okay. But we definitely have shivering. So now we want to create show shiver sweat.ini. So that would actually be a change in behavior. Oh, I don't need to rebuild. Just a setting change. Okay, we're pretty chilly, and I don't see any shivering. And then there's some desert over here a bit. Should be enough to get us fully surrounded. And I'm not seeing any sweat either. And then a quick check. Yep. I'm so used to having to compile every time I change something. Okay, so that's working fine, and since we know that the Boolean flag in general works, that's probably fine as well. All right, I want to remember to... Oh, didn't go all the way down. Diegetic... No. Matches master readme. It'll be much the same as this. Settings. Show shiver sweat. This one was a little bit more ambiguous. I guess this kind of keeps with the same style. This probably has no setting as well, but first we need to... All right, get diff. Add a setting, can control it all from here. STG refresh. STG show. Okay, there's the sweat drops, so that should be no different. Okay. STG series. STG push. Okay, yeah, this didn't have any settings before, so there's no collision. I would like to take a short break. I'm going for a bit here. I will be back in a few minutes.
Piles and piles.
All right. Science time.
Or science.
Aww. The platform is, however, facing up and trying to balance itself to the floor.
Yeah.
Well, not all experiments are successful. All right. You're good? Yep. All right, you're watching the kids? Okay. And then this needs bowl with corn kernels. Yep.
Daar.
Oké, nu moeten we... Ja, ik denk dat we dit gaan verliezen. 1-0.
Fuel, jongens, fuel.
Ga naar die auto. Die auto is 2 HP, gozer.
Kijk, in de cirkel, in de cirkel.
Nice. Niet meer shiften, niet meer shiften. We hebben echt te weinig fuel nu.
Schiet het, jongens.
Nee, we hebben niet nodig. We hebben achter...
Nog eentje, opschieten. Goed zo.
Oké, hou je wapen goed gericht. Jij moet die goede wapen hebben.
Oké, ik reload hem nu.
Pushen. Oh, hij is bijna dood.
Ik ben bijna dood, ja, help je, wachten. Kut, I'm out of ammo.
Welcome back. Alright, so we've got click through heads. Main file changed. Patches. Alright, so we've got... That was actually a pretty small one. So we need to add a setting for that, and this is what I still need to improve this a little bit, because I'm not entirely happy with it, but I don't yet have a good strategy for how to do that. So this is as it currently stands, it is, how do we say this? I mean, it could just be click through heads. It's ignore players while, well, it's not ignore players while screen lock is held. It is... I don't quite say it's prefer objects over players with screen lock. That's a mouthful. But it's an accurate description of what it's doing. Okay. All right, if it's not... Yeah, we're disabling this during screen lock. So actually, this is gonna become longer and more. This is more his style. If prefer object over players, and we're not holding screen lock, and we hit something behind, and we hit an object. And I think I was copying this from somewhere else to handle strictly above, but it's been working okay. So that should have not changed. Oh, and this is where I need the two windows. Should have not changed our behavior. Alright, so you're still there shivering. So I'll reject the login because it's the same email address. And go back to A1. This person's probably dead by now. Oh, she's not. So now see if we can find... Oh, we found her. Okay. Now we just need... not the greatest. I guess I clicked all the way down here. Or... that's not working. So it's right there. Maybe I got that backwards. How about with... okay, with screen lock I get the highlight. Oh, that's right. It was normally... right. With this. Because that's all we were doing so... I think I know what's happening there. It's counting as a click on the player, and then the drop is selecting that player's tile. Huh. That might be something I don't want to deal with, but... I guess I only need to have one client reset every time there, particularly since it's just a matter of... so we've added a flag for it. No, this is the patch. And this is, once again, just a straight up Boolean. I don't know any way to make this more than a Boolean. It is default enabled with mod. It is just an integer. We've done enough settings that I don't think there's too much danger of the no file exists case being an issue. We just have to spell this. Oh, can't complete in here. And that would be test disable. We did add the settings, so this has to be built. Oh, and actually that other player exists. I don't have to worry too much about that until somebody ages out or starves. And we think there's still a banana back there. Okay. Now drop is still, but drop you can usually just click around somebody and it's not too bad. But that is an interesting case. Now the other, well, so the setting works. One thing I've been thinking about tweaking on that is to say if it's edible, like you could feed yourself, which is the main thing that I end up running into. But, well, maybe if I did it specifically for self, but I did see somebody trying to fill berry bowls the other day and people kept getting in the way. So... so that's one I've been thinking about. I've also been wondering if there's some way, because usually oftentimes when I'm auto running, I want to run, and then I want to do something when I get to a point. So I still don't have a strategy for, other than the screen lock, for controlling this without like adding another key that's like interact with players mode, and then you can default to not interact with players. But that ruins some of the fluidity of, you know, picking up, putting on clothes, eating normally. So it's a little bit tricky there. STG series. I guess I could probably... Actually, I should probably dump this out. Oh, and document patches, readme. So then it is STG export. Custom get ignored, because I don't want to export debugging info. CD patches master, get status, all changed. Oh, our settings. That must be some context. Oh, also I removed some white space from one of these, so that might be interacting a little bit weird. Is there a single white space there? That I've been... No? That's context white space, because I was just leaving that line alone. And I got some stuff to the top, because we had to add those things. Ooh. Oh, that's mine. That's fine. This is the difference to the patch. Patches of patches get kind of hairy. That's a plus. Which one are we in? That's screen edge push. Oh no, that's actually fixing a white space change, I think. Then that's going back as context. Okay. Add settings files to all patches. And then back in the main, STG series, STG pop. We wanted to look at auto run. And then we've got, I think I do need to make sure we load this. We now have a setting for this. Oh, no, well. Max double click frames is already, we had a setting for this, and okay. Yeah, force ground click, I think, is the thing he was using for some of his pointer down stuff that we might be able to use to detect a click down. So if we're not auto-running and we're not auto-clicking, and it was a double click, and we were already in motion from the first one, and it wasn't a right click, and we haven't moved too much since our last click, then we start auto-run. It looks like I might not be using ROAR standard indent in here, but oh well. And recording our other stuff. This is where looking at the patch might be useful to make sure we're getting all, and there are some other things. Well, there's actually a lot of information to track on this one. Path marks, the setting, tracking our double clicks, mouse held auto run, switching down the mouse hold flag just for cleanliness. I think that's if reached destination. Check for pointer hit. That says if we're auto running, ignore all clicks. So that's actually what we're looking at here. If we are auto running, ignore all clicks. So this is circa 16.5, actually in the patch, yeah, 16.534. Yeah, close enough. Force ground click or auto run. So auto run is sort of a general flag. Well, it would have to be where we generate auto run clicks. Mouse held or auto run. Continuous movement mode. That seems like something else. Pushing out to click test. Mouse over a blocked spot by accident. Print click dust. Holding something, show. It seems like it would be calculating this. Oh, no, wait. This is skipping it if it's doing that. We need... in motion, false. Let's probably the mouse up. Mouse held or auto run and should move camera. Mouse vector, fake click. Pointer down. Fake click. This is not using force ground click. Oh, force ground click is while walking on a road. Hey, troublemaker, how's it going? I'm trying to see if I can improve my auto run a little bit. Because I often want to do something when I get to the end of it. And straight line, continue. So he's only using force ground click for roads right now. Not for mouse held. Well, let's double check that. Goes false. Avoid clicks on self and objects when walking on a road. Oh, right, because he's normally doing mouse held, so you can't click on any. Well, he's doing fake pointer downs though, which can click on things. Mouse held. Oh, this is mouse held. Oh, this is the pointer up detection. Pointer down, fake click. Player started by clicking on nothing. Allow continued movement right away. They start by clicking on something. Make sure they're really holding the mouse down. Mouse vector. So this is doing world mouse X fake click. Why are we doing fake click stuff? They're holding the mouse down very close. Throw it out further. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I am planning to play this afternoon. I don't have, fortunately, well, if I find a change here, I'll have some behavior to check, and just I'm still trying to figure out a better way to do the anti-head blocking thing, because I still occasionally want to use screen lock for eating. So I might end up having to do like a player interaction mode in standard not, but that might interfere with fluidity of things. Not quite sure how to slice that yet. But I have kind of an idea what I want to at least accomplish with autorun. I just don't know how to do it in the code. Okay, so this is if close versus far. Next acid message is null. Okay, this is doing autorun. He only wrote this code for mouse held. But this doesn't interact. Next action message to send is null. And this is the code I'm using, which doesn't, maybe in pointer down there's something else. Where he's checking for Mouse, is this in pointer down? Push out further, push out further. So this is where I want to detect the difference between a player click and a not player click. Oh, nice. This is a set down action. This is all within the run. How much of this is within the run section? So there's click dest. What is the Oh, because they're auto clicks. They moused over a blocked spot. So we don't want to use, well, no, for auto clicks. If we turn auto clicks into forced ground click, well, do I have something specific to auto run that is mouse held or auto run? Auto run false. Is this pointer up? This is check. Oh, check for pointer hit is ignoring everything in auto run. So if I made the automatic clicks force ground click, that's continuous movement mode. Next and null, push it out. So that would be any of these. Screen to world. So anything here. Force. Or is it a... No. M force ground click. Okay. M force ground click equals true. And then, oh my gosh, there's a lot of brackets ending there. And we ended this section. No, actually, that is by his rules, lined up with that. And then this is all just, we're going to push it out or we're not going to push it out. I guess it'd be a little bit easier to ensure hygiene if we're doing it around both of these clicks, but that's just more patch. Nope, we need to make this false though. Or people might be dead by now. I've got my server set to super low hunger just because it's annoying while testing. Yep, we're all reset. We still have this bugged object. All right. So we can still activate auto run. We can still end auto run. But if I auto run and then, well, if I auto run over an object, it's not gonna cause me trouble and go, oh hey, a cactus fruit. Well, I did stop. I didn't interact with it. Maybe can I screen lock to make sure I hit it? No, it is not interacting while moving. I guess I was too close there. I keep crossing myself and canceling it. Oh, I cannot auto run while locked. Huh. Okay, so I still cannot interact. I still cannot run up to an object and interact with it. I can't interact with that. So why is that? What are we doing in pointer down with that's an actual pointer down? That's auto run activation. We're not doing anything specific to that, are we? There is a check that we're in movement mode here. Oh, that is a blocking object I was testing on, which, I mean, we might do on occasion. But that might be running afoul of that. Of course, it's harder to hit these small objects. Actually, how about a berry bush? That's the kind of thing you might want to run up to. No. Doesn't even seem to be registering. Oh, I need to... Well, I've already got... Oh, the pointer up is canceling it. Could it not be... Auto run. That's the pointer up. Oh, there's the should move camera check. This is the actual generating the automatic clicks. Let's catch the cursor. And we've got this one little section here. Watch for cases. Well, actually, it'd be just as easy to remove my stuff as to remove the entire thing. We stopped there. We did not pick up a berry. So what about in general if we were just in motion? So we can actually... No, okay, so it's not motion in general. I mean, maybe it's just the screen moving on me, but I know I've tried to like walk up to an object and interact with it before. And that is not registering. So it's not this block. What can prevent a pointer down? A legitimate player pointer down from working. That's only resetting the mouse down frames. It's not... Oh, are we going into pointer hold mode? This is... that's pointer up. Actually, we can just do that. Take out that entirely. Okay, that was definitely the spot. Nice if we had a larger object, but... Oh, no, actually you can interact with trees, and we remove that route around thing. Yeah, not interacting with that. So it doesn't seem to be this. Although maybe I should take that out for testing. But what can be... Click dust. If holding something is a set down action. So if hit self, we're not concerned about right now. May change to empty adjacent spot to... Must move dest ID greater than 0 and hit an object. For not holding anything. No, if we are holding something. So that's all hint stuff. Dest ID greater than 0 and not hit an object. That's an empty space. Oh, I guess that could be the click detection stuff as well. If there's nothing there, return. Well, we think there's something there. We may have to try and prove that. Reset our next action message. Dest ID greater than 0. Not equal to 0. Not mod click. This is for holding an object. Greater than 0 and hit another person. We didn't hit another person. Trying to heal. Greater than... we're not holding an object. We didn't hit another person. This is why I wish there was a big top-level switch to functions so I could see all these cases easier. Hit another person. Dest ID equals 0. Mod click. We're not mod clicking. There's must move, which is probably true. Oh. Ignore click. Why are we ignoring click? Completely blocked, no path at all. Okay, well that shouldn't be a concern. fact, we need to make sure we're around this case. Path to dest. Compute path to dest. Point itself may be blocked. Try again with no waypoint at all. Make a fake path. Abort the action because we can't reach the spot we want to reach. I don't think that's a problem. Send a move right away. Oh, so this is where I need to get my debugging on. So what have we done so far? We have wrapped a ground click around that and taken you out of there. Which has so far done nothing for us. Well, that's only the auto messages. We had to take that out of the return from check for pointer hit. Now, we know that we're no longer doing the instant return. Don't allow them to mouse over clicked cell after click until they mouse out. Okay, if not in motion, when we're in motion. Which might be the problem. Get object height. All the cells around. Anything that'll be affected by moving or people in this row. Draw behind objects. I know we're getting the highlight of it. I guess I don't know if we're... So the reason is that before... Yeah, I have to test that with this. I probably can't move things. STG help. We want to send patches deeper. Target patch patches. Send patches below target patch. STG sync minus T auto run debugging info, and we expect work tree not clean. So we have to save this stuff to have it in the debugging environment. Okay, cool. So now we can see what messages are resulting, if any. Okay, so that's a use at that location. But if we are running around and then do an actual click on this, we get, I don't think I saw a message. So that's not telling me anything about pointer hit. But it does tell me that no message is sent. So what are we doing now? Are we doing debugging or auto run? That's... What's this object part? What is bouncing us here? So I did the... It's like last click, last person, last click on person. And this is on straight up pointer. This is on pointer down. So I need a temporary, like a super temporary thing. Last click on object. You know what? I'm not dealing with person right now, so we could just totally cannibalize this flag. What is a pointer? Hit our placement, hit an object. Just totally cannibalize that flag for a little bit. Yep, and we died. There's lots of trees around here too. Actually, I almost want the being able to hit trees. Oh, so we're saying, oh, that was a hit, and it did not count it. Okay, so check for pointer hit is fine. We're detecting an object. It seems it's still easy to miss it. But we hit an object. So we do check for pointer hit, and then something. Oh, if mouse already down. How did I miss this one? So let's just take that out and see if that's what's doing it, because I think all the fake pointer downs tend to trigger mouse already down because we haven't got a pointer up yet. So I guess I would have to allow that during auto run then. Okay, I don't know if I hit it because I didn't keep my... Okay. Run, 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 run. Click on a pine tree. Okay, seems to not be it. Although it was very suspicious. It actually is hard to hit these things. We come up here. Nope, that's not it either. Oh no, I did a false. No, false and should fail. Well, this is still a concern for me. If mouse already down... oh, how is force ground click? Maybe that's not... I think that affects checkpointer hit. First ground click kind of supersedes that. So what else can cancel a hit? Well, we then have this. Oh, I wonder if mouse held is still counting. It's like there might be multiple little mines here. Aha! It is both of them. Yep, that one didn't register. And this doesn't work on... Well, I keep catching myself now. Okay, doesn't cause the auto-click still. So now we have to more properly do this because we still want mouse held. So the tricky bit here is that we never get a pointer up. So it's always counting as mouse already down, mouse held. Mouse already down is mouse down. Mouse down is... can be any time we have mouse down, which mouse down is going to follow kind of directly from pointer down. Maybe I don't call it mouse down if it's a forced ground click. And technically we only need this. If not, mouse already down. That's going to keep resetting the frames. Although that might be kind of considering it. Alright, so then we had a couple things we touched. It was mouse already down. Which shouldn't trigger here. And we had mouse held. Although we don't want to do this under auto run now, we think. Well, for force ground click maybe. Is what we actually want to do there. Okay, we can click on a tree. We can run around a tree. And if we do mouse hold, and we're not even... Did I catch myself there, or did something else happen? And that... Oh. Mouse held won't even highlight an item. Yeah, for auto run, I kind of wanted to be able to select something at the end. Huh. Oh, because he was resetting all the hit stuff. Actually, so Right. So, because I'm forcing ground click. So we're not... So the auto clicks are no longer causing that to trigger. And we think... the mouse over a blocked spot. So I think what we really want here is... we want the auto run clicks, not necessarily anything during auto run. Oh, there's multiple force. Hmm. So I can run up to something. Oh. Unless I miss. Run up to something and grab it. Most of the time. Can I break it? No, okay. I might have just been too close to myself. We can also run around and nothing will interact. During auto run, we'll get our highlights. So it's still going to be hard to hit things, but you can. And then this, we'll have to do some testing to make sure there's no other weird side effects, but this is, I think, more of the behavior I've been wanting. I guess I should check this. Let's see, so I'll probably need like a sharp stone or something that can interact with stuff. I'm gonna run up here. Well, I think I missed that one. And do that, and then I guess I was looking at like making sure with an object I can run up, yep, and dig. Nice. So now we have to do status. We're now touching that bit. We don't want to do that if we're faking clicks. And we switch that condition over. So STG refresh. STG series. STG, is it float? So now that patch is, oh, I need to rearrange according to series file. Well, it says push to top, but oh, it can't float above the applied patches. Ooh. Oh, yeah, now we've got the debugging info in there. Okay. Living life. Ignore tall objects. We want... I don't want them together, actually. If anything, I want... No. Debugging stuff below other stuff. Then I hit save. Do a quick compile check. STG series, we are in... Technically, we're in click-through trees. STG status, STG. I guess we have to refresh at this point. Git add, game source, living life. STG push. Oh my gosh, it's going to conflict all the way up. Yeah, as we add every single flag. But I do prefer to have this down here. That's where it's going to more end up. Make sure we compile. So 1 there, 2 there. Make sure we compile. EG series, we're at the top. STG float, debugging info. Gah. And it's going to conflict at every single step again. So we're at... Oh boy. We are at that without debugging info. Yeah. So I guess that inversion made it mad. So that'll tell me if the variables are missing. Now we have to add STG refresh, STG series. I think we said we can't. Oh, we actually are able to float it now. Or not. Maybe you have to apply and then float? Yeah, because we're back at ignore tall objects. Oh, wait. Oh, but now we're on debugging info. Okay. I guess because he's got added, no, added in the same place. So it would tell me about unused variables if they were not used. Oh, wait, we needed one more space here. So now we're on debugging info. STG, get add game source, living life, STG refresh, STG float, debugging info. All right, it's the top of the stack, so it can't get any higher. Conflict, STG series. We are currently working on diegetic temperature. So we want to remove all of this stuff. Make sure it compiles to make sure we didn't get that backwards. So they all got the debugging thing in their context. Kind of makes me want to put it somewhere else just to avoid that junk. All right, so git add, STG refresh, STG push to get back to debugging info, where we have a conflict again. And this is debugging info on top of that patch. So we do want to include it. So add game source, refresh, STG push. It didn't conflict. That conflicted. So this should be STG series. No, we're on click-through heads. So we need to not have any of that stuff. Make sure it compiles. STG refresh. Now the good news is, oh, nope, we get one more conflict pushing it on. Make sure it compiles. All right, now I kind of want to move this somewhere else. I was really kind of putting it with my stuff, but it's like, gosh, if I'm moving this around, it's just going to be a trial every time. Well, it's debugging, so... Double check, yeah, STG refresh. All right, so now we have tweaked auto run a little bit. STG export, custom git ignore 2. CD patches master. And we're going to have some line changes in the rest. Oh, okay. So we're adding this section to the patch with that one line. We took auto run out of there, and then it's all just different. And the rest of these are pretty much all line changes. Allow auto run to interact on ending click. And that will need lots of testing. So I'll probably leave that for now until I do my own testing today. And then if that goes well, I will version that and do another build. But that's the only, that and the setting file is the only functional changes. But it is well into lunchtime. So I am going to stop for now, go have lunch, and then come back to actually play the game with the patches this afternoon and see how everything goes. So, thanks for hanging out. Thanks to everybody who hosted me. Let's see, what do we have in the meantime? Oh, and a new follow as well. And did I miss that during the break? Anyway. And I am normally doing programming in the mornings and games in the afternoon. I tend to do 1 Hour 1 Life stuff on Saturday. Let's see. Yeah, you're welcome. What do we have? Oh, well, there you go. I've seen Relixandra playing this game before. Right now she's playing Terraria, which is a little bit different. For someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Oh, wait a minute. Sure, that works. And I frequently do coding stuff, but I guess I didn't see any right off the bat. So, yeah, that works. Thanks for hanging out with me, and until next time.